Chapter 1. The Broadcast That Shouldn't Exist. It was a quiet night in a small Midwestern town in 1995. Families were watching their usual evening programs on Channel 7 News when, without warning, the broadcast began to distort. The anchor's voice faltered, stuttered, and repeated itself unnaturally. His words broke into a loop. Farewell, farewell, farewell. The screen flickered, then dissolved into static. The static cleared just enough to reveal the weather forecast. But something was wrong. The map on screen showed towns no one had ever heard of. Names like Riversend, Hollow Pines, and Blackridge. The meteorologist's smile froze in place as an emergency alert tone began to drone unnaturally long, echoing like a scream stretched across the airwaves. Suddenly, the screen cut to a single frozen image. A cornfield at night. In the middle of the field stood a tall, shadowed figure. Its shape was human, but blurred, distorted, almost bending out of the picture. At the bottom of the screen, a string of white text flickered over and over again. 41 degrees 02 and 93, degree 36W. Coordinates to a place that did not belong on any map. Then the voice returned. No longer the anchor, no longer human. A flat, robotic announcement emerged through the emergency alert system. It said, "Asterisk, this is a message for county residents only. Stay indoors. Do not look outside. The signal watches." Asterisk, the voice warped deeper and deeper, breaking apart into a guttural rumble before it faded into silence. But silence did not last long. A grainy VHS camcorder recording flickered next. It showed the living room of a small house. Two kids huddled in front of the glowing TV screen. One whispered in excitement, "It's happening again." The other, trembling, whispered back, "Shut up, it can hear us." And then the screen went completely black. Across the dark screen, one final line appeared in red, burned into the eyes of anyone who watched. Asterisk, this message is for county residents only. If you are seeing this, IT is too late. Asterisk. Chapter 2, the coordinates. The next morning, Channel 7 News was back to normal. The anchor smiled, the weather ran smoothly, and the fair was once again the top story. But for those who had seen the broadcast the night before, nothing felt normal anymore. The strange coordinates still echoed in their minds. Whispers began to spread across the town. At the local diner, truck drivers argued about the message. One swore the coordinates pointed to an old cornfield outside of town, abandoned since the early 70s. Another said there used to be a farmhouse there, but burned down years ago under suspicious circumstances. Nobody could agree on the truth, but curiosity was growing. That evening, a group of teenagers decided to test a rumor. Armed with a handheld VHS camcorder and a flashlight, they drove out past the county line until they reached the coordinates. The field was silent, lifeless, the stalks of corn long dead and brittle. Yet, in the middle of the field, the camera picked up something strange, a metal tower, thin and rusting, with wires dangling into the soil. It wasn't supposed to be there. As the group approached, their camcorder began to malfunction. The battery drained far too quickly. The timestamp flickered with impossible dates. Asterisk January 1st, 1901. December 31st, 2099. August 13th, 1995 again and again. Asterisk, their laughter turned uneasy. The air grew heavy. One of them swore they saw the silhouette of a tall figure standing between the rows of corn. Then the sound came, not from the tower, not from the air, but from their own camcorder speaker. A distorted voice repeated the same words they had heard on the TV. Asterisk, stay indoors. Do not look outside. The signal watches. Asterisk, the teens panicked. The camcorder fell, its lens staring upward. For a brief moment, the grainy recording caught the night sky. Dozens of dark shapes hovered above, circling like vultures. Then the tape cut to black. Back in town, the next night, Channel 7 once again glitched. The screen showed only a blank map of the county, a red that blinked at the exact location of the cornfield. Slowly, one word appeared underneath it in blood-red text. Asterisk compromised. Asterisk. Chapter 3. The Town That Doesn't Sleep. For the next week, the town could not escape the signal. At first, it was small things. Radios would suddenly tune to static no matter the station. Microwave ovens beeped at impossible hours of the night. Streetlights flickered in perfect unison, as if following some hidden code. Then came the nights without sleep. Families reported waking at exactly 3:07 a.m., hearing faint voices through their televisions even when the sets were unplugged. The voices whispered instructions, fragmented and terrifying. Asterisk, do not leave your bed. Keep your eyes closed. If you see it, it will know. Asterisk, children were the first to break. They spoke of shadows moving inside their rooms, shapes pressing against the glass of their windows, and tall figures that vanished when parents turned on the lights. One boy at the local elementary school drew the silhouette over and over in his notebook, covering every page. When his teacher asked what it was, he replied flatly, asterisk, the broadcaster. Asterisk. Meanwhile, Channel 7 grew bolder. Instead of glitches, it now hijacked primetime slots. Right in the middle of sitcoms and late-night talk shows, the feed would cut away. Grainy footage of empty streets appeared, filmed from strange angles, as if by cameras no one knew existed. Sometimes, viewers swore they saw neighbors wander in the streets, their eyes white, their movements jerky and unnatural. The sheriff tried to dismiss it all as hysteria, but even his own deputies stopped showing up for work. The few who remained confessed to hearing things through their police radios, warnings that weren't meant for them. One night, a deputy's car camera caught him sitting in the vehicle, frozen stiff, staring into the darkness. A distorted voice leaked through the radio. Asterisk, do not resist. The signal is not asking. Asterisk, by the end of the week, half the town had stopped going outside after dark. Doors were bolted, curtains sealed, but it didn't matter, because at 3:07 a.m., every single television in the county turned on by itself. On the screen was a cornfield again, only this time it was crowded. Dozens of townspeople stood in the rows, motionless, staring directly at the camera. Their faces were pale, their mouths open in silence. And behind them, towering above the field, was the rusted metal tower. Except now it was glowing. Across the screen, text began to crawl, one letter at a time. Asterisk, the town is awake. The town belongs to us. Asterisk, Chapter 4, the blackout. By the second week, the signal was no longer a rumor. It was in control. Every night at 3:07 a.m., televisions across the county lit up with the same haunting broadcast. Families tried smashing their TVs, burning them, even leaving them outside. But it didn't matter. Even without power, even without antennas, the screen still turned on, glowing with that sickly, grainy light. Then came the blackout. On a Thursday evening, just as the local diner closed and families settled in for dinner, the entire county went dark. Power lines hummed, then snapped into silence. Streetlights blinked out. Radios fell quiet. Every home was swallowed by pitch blackness. Only one thing remained lit: the screens. Channel 7 came back, brighter than ever, blasting across every set. This time, there was no anchor, no news desk, just a cornfield, filmed in eerie black and white. The metal tower pulsed with light, like a beacon, and then the voice began. Not robotic this time, not distorted, but clear, human, and direct. It was a woman's voice, calm but commanding. Asterisk, do not attempt to leave. Stay where you are. Do not resist. We are already inside your homes. Asterisk, as the message repeated, people across the town began to feel it, a pressure in their skulls, a vibration in their bones. Windows rattled without wind. Dogs barked and then fell silent, as if their throats had been cut by invisible hands. The sheriff made one last desperate attempt. He gathered a small group of survivors, armed with flashlights and rifles, and drove toward the cornfield. But along the highway, their headlights flickered and died. In the darkness, their radios screamed with static. Out of the fields on both sides, figures emerged, tall, pale silhouettes, eyes glowing faintly like dying stars. They didn't run. They didn't attack. They just stood, blocking the road, watching. The sheriff ordered his men to fire. The gunshots rang out, but every bullet vanished into the night, as though swallowed by air itself. The figures didn't flinch. They didn't bleed. Back in town, the broadcast reached its peak. The woman's voice grew louder, overlapping with itself in strange layers. The words blurred until they were no longer words at all, just commands burrowing directly into the brain. At 3:07 a.m. sharp, every resident of the county heard the final transmission. Asterisk, do not look outside. Do not open the door. The signal will claim what is owed. Asterisk, and then silence. For the first time, even the televisions went black. But the town did not sleep. Not anymore. Chapter 5, the last transmission. No one in the county slept after the blackout. For 3 days, the town remained unnaturally quiet. The phones were dead, the power grid destroyed, and the roads out town blocked by endless lines of silent figures standing shoulder to shoulder. No one dared to look them in the eyes. Then, on the 4th night, the televisions returned. Not one or two, but every single set in every single home, even the broken ones. Screens cracked with static before settling on the same image. The rusted metal tower in the cornfield, glowing like a lighthouse. This time, though, there was no voice. Only the sound of hundreds of people breathing, heavy and in unison. Slowly, the camera pulled back, and what it revealed was impossible. The cornfield was gone. The town itself was gone. All that remained was an endless stretch of black soil, flat and empty, stretching further than the eye could see. In the center stood the tower, surrounded by hundreds, maybe thousands, of people. Every resident of the county stood in perfect rows, eyes open, faces blank, staring at the glow. Then, the broadcast cut to the newsroom. The anchor was back, but his face was pale, sunken, and wrong. His eyes rolled in opposite directions as he spoke in a voice layered with static. Asterisk, the transmission is complete. The county has been received. Signal strength optimal. Asterisk. Behind him, the studio lights flickered. For a brief second, the camera shifted, not by accident, but as if someone or something wanted the viewers to see. The walls of the newsroom were not walls at all. They were screens, infinite screens, stacked to the ceiling, each showing different towns, different counties, different places across America. Some feeds looked normal. Others showed cornfields glowing in the night. And then came the final message. The anchor leaned forward, his face filling the frame. His smile stretched too wide. Asterisk, if you're watching this broadcast, your county is next. Asterisk, the screen went black, and it never turned on again. The end.